What's up, sports bettors? I got some parlays for today, and I absolutely hate when people say you can't make money betting on parlays. It's absolutely false. We're going to go through the math behind parlays, how you can make money betting on parlays, and hopefully you guys are able to tail some of these picks. So let's get into it. So let's go through the math behind parlays, and my first pick is going to be right here. Maxey over 3.5 assists at plus 130. So what should jump out to you is that Fliff is offering you crazy value. Most other sportsbooks aren't even giving you this player prop at plus money, right? You can see Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're at minus 114. Fliff's at plus 130. Fliff is a really clear line discrepancy. This is a bet with a lot of value. So you may be like, well, why don't you just straight bet it? And you could absolutely straight bet it, right? So I've shown before, like we've gone through the math behind parlays, as some picks I'll even include as a straight bet, and I'll also bet them as a parlay, just like Horth, a UFC play I gave out last weekend. I included it in a 2-pick parlay. I also went with it as a straight bet. So it's pretty simple, and I'll show you the math behind parlays in this video. But if every pick in your parlay is profitable, then your parlay is going to be profitable. So this play, it's very clearly good. So it's going to be profitable in a parlay. It would be profitable in a straight bet, a round robin. It doesn't really matter. Most people can't make money betting on anything, right? Most people can't make money betting on straight bets. Most sports bettors lose long-term to the books. So that's why it's very common advice. You shouldn't bet on parlays. You can absolutely make money betting on parlays. It's just most people can't even make money on their straight bets. So they're not going to make money betting on parlays. But anyways, the first player prop I went with, which has an insane profit margin, right? The stock market goes up like 9% a year. This game's tonight, 9% profit margin. So long story short, what we need to do to figure out the profit margin of our parlay, and this is just one of 3 picks that I'm going to take you through, is we need to figure out the win probability for each of our bets. Right? So long story short, you can use this no vig odds calculator. So for example, you're going to see Pinnacle right here, sharpest sportsbook in the world. They have the over at minus 114. They have the under at minus 115, right? So Maxey, he's always going to go over 3.5 assists or he's going to go under. So these are equal and opposite outcomes. So if the sportsbook were to give you the exact same odds, if there's a book that gives you the exact same odds on both the over and the under, so just imagine Pinnacle had the over at minus 114, the under at minus 114. Well, if both bets are the same price, then that sportsbook is telling you, hey, based on our model, based on, all the action we've seen in the market, based on our model, we think both outcomes are equally likely, right? So if a sportsbook, right, if they're giving you the same odds on both teams, like let's imagine, there's 2 teams, both are minus 110 odds, that means the sportsbook is saying, hey, these teams are 50-50 to win. Right? They're giving you the same odds for both teams. So it's kind of similar here, right? Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're saying there's not really a difference in the odds that we're giving sports bettors to bet for over 3.5 versus under 3.5. So it's basically he's 50-50, Maxey, to go over or under. Right? So you can see they have very slight juice towards the under. So if you use this no vig odds calculator, what this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's market and then tells you the win probability for your bet. So we're on Maxey's over, which is a very small underdog, 49.9% to win. So we have the win probability for this first bet, Maxey over 3.5 assists, and all we're doing is we're taking the odds on Pinnacle Sportsbook and putting it into a no vig odds calculator. So they have the under favored, but very, very slightly. I mean, minus 114 versus minus 115. The under is just slightly favored, 50.1%, according to Pinnacle Sportsbook. And we're getting this play at plus 130, which is obviously crazy value compared to every other sportsbook. So it should be clear that this is a good bet, right? You treat every sportsbook as a data point on where the line should be set. I say this in every video, but these are all sports books. These are all places you can bet, but they're also all data points on where the line should be set. And all these books are pricing this around, minus 105, plus 100, whatever. You're getting plus 130. It's clear as day that this play is profitable. So long story short, this first bet we're on, Maxey over 3.5 assists, is winning 49.9% of the time. And that's the first bet that I'm on in my parlay. So then we're just kind of going through. So this I included in a different parlay. This I included in a different bet. So long story short, we got to go all the way down here. 1.7% profit margin, so slightly lower. This play is just absolutely incredible. You definitely have to be on it. Maxi over 3.5 assists. But you can see here, there's profitable plays on Prize Picks. I've explained this before, but this is why you want to get as many sportsbook accounts as possible. There's profitable bets on DraftKings, in EuroLeague basketball, right? There can be value anywhere. There's value on DraftKings, there's value on Fliff, there's value on Prize Picks. The more sportsbooks you have, because all these books set lines independently, the more profitable betting opportunities are going to be available to you, right? So this under 8 runs in Phillies Dodgers, you can get it at plus 130 on Fliff. Most other books aren't even giving you better than plus 115. But long story short, what we're going to do is we're going to take Pinnacle's market, right? So the under's the underdog, right? The under is the underdog outcome. It's not the favored outcome. This game is favored to go over 8 runs. But given the value we're getting at plus 130, it's still a profitable bet, right? So all of the plays in green and in bold on OddsJam, those are the profitable bets. So we go ahead. We put this into a no vig odds calculator, plus 119, minus 135. And what this calculator says is, yeah, the under's the underdog, but it's 44.29% to win based on the sportsbook odds. And if this is confusing to you, 44.29%. So if this is confusing to you, like, you have to remember, if a team is minus 200, let's say to win a game, minus 200, that means they're a 2-to-1 favorite, right? Like, they're obviously favored to win the game, but they're still going to lose that game a third of the time. Minus 200 means a 2-to-1 favorite, 2/3 to win the game, 66.67% to win the game. So all a no vig odds calculator does is it strips out the vig and tells you the win probability for your play, right? So this bet is still unlikely. It's less favored to hit than the over, but given that we're getting plus 130, this play's incredibly good, right? Given the odds we're getting. Given the value. So you can have profitable bets at, minus odds, so favorite outcomes. So this is a profitable play on Prize Picks. So on Prize Picks, you're getting this at minus 119. All the other books are saying, no. This play should be a lot more favored around minus 145. You're getting it at minus 119. So sometimes you're betting on, favored outcomes, such as Tarasenko under 2.5 shots on goal, whereas sometimes you're betting on underdog outcomes. In this case, this play's still less than 50% to win, but given the value we're getting at plus 130, it's still a profitable play. I mean, Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook in the world, they're giving you 11 cents worse at plus 119. So we're always finding value in the market, right? That's what OddsJam is doing, is it's scanning these tens of thousands of lines on each sportsbook, millions of odds total, all of these NBA lines, alternate spreads, alternate totals, and just pointing out to you those few rare betting opportunities that actually have an edge, that are actually profitable, and they're all in the positive EV tool. So you can see there's not like that many, right? OddsJam is reading in all this data. So out of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of odds being updated every second on OddsJam, there's only 24 profitable bets. So as a sharp bettor, you're kind of like looking for the needle in the haystack, right? Most player props, Fliff doesn't have value, but on Tyrese Maxey, they were offering a lot of value. So you really have to be hunting around and looking for those spots where sportsbooks have super different odds from one another. Because usually, most bets aren't profitable. You're really looking for those few rare betting opportunities that are actually profitable enough to beat the vig, beat the juice. Like, you got to find spots where a sportsbook is really screwing up. Fliff just had this at plus 122. I mean, sure, you're getting a little bit better of odds than other sportsbooks, but it's not enough value to justify the bet and beat the vig, right? So essentially what we're doing is we're using Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook in the world, to figure out what the true win probability for a bet is. So here, for the second play, it was 44.29%. Just putting in Pinnacle's market. So minus 135, plus 119. True win probability, 44.29%. Okay. And then we can go to our final play, which is going to be right here in the Suns-Nuggets game. So we're getting over 230.5 points on Fliff at plus 120. Most other books have this around plus 110. Pinnacle's market, this is, again, the underdog outcome. Plus 113, minus 129. So we put that into a no vig odds calculator, and you're going to see this play is 45.46% to win, according to Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So 45.46% to win. So now we have the win probability for all 3 bets in our parlay. This parlay is at plus 1,064 odds. So to figure out the win probability for our parlay, we just multiply these numbers together, right? like none of these bets are in the same game. So to figure out the win probability for Maxey to go over, for the Dodgers game to go under, and for over 230 half in the Suns Nuggets game, you just multiply all these probabilities together, right? We know the win probability for each bet. So to figure out the win probability for our parlay, you just multiply these all together. And it turns out to be roughly 10%. So we're winning this parlay according to Pinnacle Sportsbook, the model on Pinnacle Sportsbook, right? We are winning this parlay 10% of the time, roughly. But we're getting plus 1,063.4 or 1,063.8 odds. So we're betting 250 to win roughly, $2,700 in profit. So then what you can do is you can back out your profit margin. You just essentially say, okay, right? So you just essentially say, okay, well, that's not right. So what you essentially say is, okay, 10% of the time, we're going to be winning $2,660 according to Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker. The other 90% of the time, we're losing our stake of $250. So you can back out your profit margin or your EV in the combined profit margin of this parlay. I'll include this spreadsheet in the description so you can go through the math on your own. Is this parlay has $42 in profit margin, 16.93% edge. So parlay betting, you actually, these profit margins kind of combine, right? They add up. So this play you can see on Maxey had a 9.69% profit margin, but when you include it in a parlay with 3 other plays, your parlay actually has a higher profit margin than this 9.69%. It compounds, right? And this is why parlays are very risky, because for people who don't know how to bet on sports, they're losing bettors. Let's say they're losing 3% of their money on average. They don't understand data. They don't understand how to use the positive EV tool, whatever it is, right? So if all 3 of your bets have a 3% profit margin, then your parlay will have roughly a 9% profit margin. But if you're a recreational bettor and 3 of your bets, you have a, let's say, minus 3% profit margin on the sports book, your parlay is going to be minus 9%. That's why most people can't make money betting on parlays, because they can't make money betting on sports. It's just in parlays, it's amplified because the vig or the juice compounds. Whereas as a sharp bettor, your edge compounds, right? The more profitable bets you include in your parlay, sure, your parlay is less likely to win because, I could have bet these all as straight bets. I just decided to include it in a parlay for this video. Because again, it doesn't really matter. You can play profitable bets as a straight bet, in a round robin, in a parlay. It doesn't matter at all. As long as all of your bets have an edge, your parlay will be profitable, right? It's just most people don't know how to find bets with an edge. So it really doesn't matter. I could have round robin these picks, could have done anything. I just decided to parlay it because why not? It doesn't matter. It just, the only difference is your risk tolerance, right? Because if you win 2 out of these 3 plays, your parlay is going to lose. Whereas if you were straight betting, you would have made money. So it's just kind of a risk reward spectrum. Some people like, betting lower amounts of money and having a bigger payout, but they're winning less frequently, right? When you're betting on parlays as opposed to straight bets, you're going to win less frequently. But long story short, this is the parlay I went with. $42 in profit margin. I'm $42 richer just by placing this parlay. 3 sharp picks from OddsJam, including Maxey over 3.5 assists at plus 130. This play was crazy good value, found on the OddsJam positive EV tool, which is constantly scanning the market. And I have some other parlay picks, so I'll just flip over. I'll show you all my parlays for today, and then. So right here, I like to show I put my money where my mouth is. I actually bet on, what I'm saying I'm betting on. So here you can see my parlays on Fliff. Again, get more sportsbook accounts. More sportsbooks, more profitable betting opportunities. You never know which book is going to slip up, be offering value on a given day. So more sportsbooks is better. Anyways, let's make some money.